Hello friends, and welcome back to another video, and a special big hello if you are new. Today I thought I would share some fall book recommendations because it is officially fall. Clementine is shaking the tripod. Sometimes it shows up in the videos and sometimes it doesn't, so I'm sorry if it does. But I thought I would share some fall book recommendations. I have 5 here, and I tried to come up with books that fit a variety of genres because I know not everyone enjoys reading classics, or not everyone enjoys reading like YA or romance, and not everyone enjoys books. Like, fall is cozy season, so not necessarily everyone wants something that's like spooky. You might just want something comforting and cozy. So hopefully I have something on here that you can add to your TBR. So let's get started. I'm going to start off with classics. So the classic that I have to recommend for you is Jamaica Inn by Daphne du Maurier. I genuinely don't think that you could go wrong with any du Maurier. Rebecca is a great one for this time of year. I really recommend it too. My copy of Rebecca's not here, or I probably would have talked about them both. I've also read My Cousin Rachel, and it's good also for this time of year. I think her books they're kind of gothic, so they're great for like spooky season. But this is Jamaica Inn, and the reason I really wanted to talk about this one was because I think that the villain in this story is so sinister. I mean, he's just the embodiment of evil, and I don't know, it's spooky, I think, more so than the others. It tells the story of our heroine, whose name is Mary. So she is having to, I think her father has passed away, so she is going to go live with her aunt and uncle by marriage. When she gets there, she discovers that her uncle is running this like mysterious web profession, and I can't really tell you about that because that's part of the mystery. But her aunt, who she loved when she was younger and had kind of idolized, is like this ghost-like woman, just kind of quietly meandering around the inn where they live. It's set on the Cornish coast, so you have like the rough sea and the weather, and there is thieving and smuggling and murder, and also a little bit of love. It is so good. I just highly recommend it. I was also gifted this edition by one of my friends. We've read a few du Mauriers around the same time, and we watched some of the adaptations from them, and it is so beautiful. I love it. Moving on from classics, I have a YA novel for you, and it is The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. I don't know why I don't see very many people talk about this book, because it is perfect for this time of year. It tells the story of a young boy named Bod. His family has been murdered, and the night that his family was murdered, I'm pretty sure it's been a while, he runs to a graveyard for safety. So he is being raised by the ghost in the graveyard. So it's protecting him from whoever murdered his family. Obviously, Bod is growing up. He's coming of age. It's a YA novel, and is wanting to kind of leave the graveyard and kind of experience life a little bit more. But the danger is if he leaves the graveyard, then he is at risk of being killed from Jack, who murdered Bod's family. So good. My husband is not a reader, and he read this book and really liked it. He listened to the audiobook with Neil Gaiman. It also has some like sketches in here, which is really cool. It kind of adds a nice like element to it. I really enjoyed this one. It's a really fun YA book, and it's really great, like I said, for this time of year. Next, I have a cozy mystery. This is actually a series, but I've only read the first one, and it is the Shady Hollow mystery. It's a murder mystery. These are set during Shady Hollow. It is a little village in the woods of mostly forest animals. this is Vera Vixen. She is a detective, so the town discovers a body of a... I was trying to see if it says what it was. Basically, they discover a body, and the character was kind of an old drunk, so it's like wondering if this character, you know, just kind of was drinking and stumbled into the water and accidentally drowned, or if he was murdered. So Vera is on the case, and as she is exploring the case and getting close to the answer, some kind of dangerous events start to happen to her, because whoever has committed this murder does not want her to solve it. It was a lot more murderous than I expected, especially for like forest animals. I kind of expected it to be a little bit more cutesy. It was really cute though, and really fun. I loved the characters. I loved the town. It's just perfect for this time of year. It's just a really cozy mystery. It's very low stakes. It's not anything to stress you out. I don't like thrillers or like crazy intense mysteries, so I think that this is just the perfect like little cozy mystery for you to read. Or if you're new to mysteries and you're kind of iffy on how you would feel about them, I think this would be a really great one to start with. And I don't know, I just love animals living like normal human lives. I love that, so it adds a nice element to it as well. I'm going to read the second one this fall, and maybe even the third one. So I don't know. It's a cozy little crime mystery, and I really recommend it. Next, I have a very typical autumnal book. I read it last year. It's just kind of like just plain old fiction, I guess. Or it's more like magical realism, I would say. I think that's probably a better description of it. But when I was reading it last year, a lot of people did not know that it was a book. They only associate it with the movie. So it is Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. I adore Alice Hoffman. I love her writing. I have kind of concluded that I like magical realism. I like when magic is just incorporated into our everyday world. It feels like the world could be magic, and that, you know, one day I will discover a typewriter that sends letters to someone I love, or you know, a cup that never cools my tea down, or whatever. I don't know. I really like it. But it tells a story of two sisters. Their names are Gillian and Sally. They've always been known as outsiders in their town because of their family history and the association with magic, aka witches. They've been raised by two elderly aunts, and had kind of seen some of their aunts like help or hurt, depending on your perspective, different women in the town regarding love. So they both grow up with very different ideas of love. So one of the sisters is, you know, running off, gonna get married, gonna date whoever, you know, live for adventure. And the other sister just kind of wants to settle down, get married, have children, you know, and just become a respectable member of the town. This crazy event happens and brings the two of the sisters together, and they kind of have to solve this problem or this like issue that is going on in their lives together. I struggled with this book because I expected it to be a lot more magical. I think more like fantasy based than what it was, and that was kind of my own fault. I am reading the other book, so I think it starts at this one and then goes back in time, so prequels. But I don't know. I think that if I reread it, since I have a better idea, I would appreciate it more. I like that kind of magical element of it is like love, whether that's like family love or like romantic love. I think that's really interesting. But yeah, I think this is just a classic for this time of year, and if you haven't read it, then just go ahead and do it. And then you can have a movie night after and compare the two. I've still not seen the film all the way through, so I have no input there. All right, and the last book that I have for you is a cozy romance or rom-com. I really like to describe a lot of the romance books that I read as, hi honeys. I like to describe the like romances that I read as rom-coms, because to me they feel like the golden age of rom-coms. Like the late 90s, early 2000s kind of rom-coms. So that's what I'm describing this as. But it is Very Sincerely Yours by Kerry Winfrey. It tells the story of a young woman. I think she's in her 30s or is almost 30. She's working, and she's been dumped by her longtime boyfriend, and she just feels directionless in life. Like, she pictured herself marrying this guy and having this certain type of future, and now life is just totally on pause. And you know, she has this like time frame in her head of when things should be going on, and it's not happening, and it's stressful. So she is obsessed with a show called Everett's Place, which is like a modern day Mr. Rogers kind of show. So she writes to the host an email, and just kind of describes like, I'm in this predicament, because he reads, Everett, the show host, will read emails and messages from children and kind of help them solve their problems. So she just kind of goes for it and just writes him an email just to kind of express like what she's going through, just to kind of have like a listening ear. She doesn't really expect Everett to see the message. You know, she kind of assumes there's like a filtering process with like a intern or an assistant or someone, but the letter does find, or the email rather, does find its way to Everett. So Everett, who hosts Everett's Place, I want you to picture Chris Evans, but as Mr. Rogers, and that's Everett. Like, that is who he is. Put Chris Evans in Mr. Rogers sweater. I have a very Mr. Rogers sweater on today. That was not intentional. But put him in a sweater, and it's Everett. So he's living his dream job. He's got a great house. He's got great friends. Like, he is happy, but there just seems to be something missing and something lacking, which is love. Enter in our main female character, and again, they start writing emails back to each other, and then they meet up and stuff. It's a very kind of You've Got Mail kind of vibe to it, with the emails, and then it eventually like becoming into something more. It's so good. It is a closed door romance, so I know like people have varying opinions on that. It doesn't bother me either way, but if you like closed door romances, then I think this is perfect. Or even if you don't, it's just a really sweet story. So I highly recommend it. And it's just cozy and comforting for fall. You've Got Mail is such a fall movie, so why not read a book that, you know, kind of has those same vibes. Thank you so much for being here and listening to me babble on about books. It means the world to me, especially if you made it all the way to the end. I hope that you found a book to add to your fall TBR, or maybe just your TBR in general. And I guess I will see you guys next time. Bye.